generation. We've been called for the show. All I require for life, I know. How many of you are chosen? Come on. Hey. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for the show. Say all I require for life, God has given me. I know who God sent. And what it says, and where He says, and say I know who God says I am. What it says, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. Say I'm walking in power, working miracles. I live a life. Say I know who I am. Say I'm walking in power and working miracles. I live a life of favor. Wave your hands, shout oh, oh, oh. I know who I am. Lift your voice, shout oh, oh. I know. Come on, wave your hands, shout oh, oh, I know who I am. One more time, shout oh, I know who I am. What are you? Come on. Holy. I am righteous. I am so rich. I am. How many beautiful people do we have here? Say I'm working in power. Hey, I'm working miracles. Say I know who I am, and I'm walking in power, working miracles. Yeah, I need you. I know who I am. Take a look. Take a look at me, I'm a wonder. It doesn't matter what you see. Hey, you see. Say I know. Tell somebody, take a look. Take a look at me, I'm a wonder. It doesn't matter what you see. Hey, I can see. Hey, everybody shout oh, yeah. Oh, I know. Wave your hands, shout oh, oh, I know who I am. Come on, give somebody a high five. Say I know who I am. Do you know who you are? How many of you are blessed right here? Give somebody a high five. Say I know who I am. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Everybody shout oh, oh, I know who I am. Wave your hands, shout oh, I know who I am. One more time, shout oh, I know who I am. Come on, wave your hands, shout oh, I know who I am. Come on, shout a song of praise. We know who we are. We know who we are. Bigger than the universe. You're bigger than the sun and the stars. You're bigger than the things, oh my, that could tear me apart. For I know you're great in all the earth. For I know you're great in all the earth. Yes, the world will bow down and say you are God. Every man will bow down and say you are King. So let's start right now. Why would we wait? King of glory, fill this place. We just want to be with you. We just want to be with you. King of glory, fill this place. We just want to be with you. We just want to be with you. Come on and help me sing. Yes, the world bow down and say you are God. Every man will bow down and say you are King. So let's start right now. Why would we wait? We can praise you now in victory. King of glory, come on and worship Him. Fill this place. We just want to be with you. We just want to be with you. King of glory, fill this place. We just want to be with you. We just want to be with you. So we'll sing hallelujah until you come again. And we'll dance in your presence until you come again. Come on, we will sing hallelujah until you come again. Anybody ready to praise Him right now? And we'll dance in your presence until you come again. We will sing hallelujah until you come again. Till you come again. We will dance in your presence until you come again. We will sing hallelujah. Until you come again. And we'll dance in your presence. Dance in your presence. Dance in your presence. Your presence. Your presence. Your presence. Your I just want to be with you. Just want to be King of glory. Feel this place. I just want to be with you. I just want to be with you. Just want to be with you. King of glory, fill this place. We just want to be with you. Just want to be with you. One more time. King of glory, fill this place. We just want to be with you. Just want to be with you. Hallelujah, 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 The enemy came up against your home. The enemy came up against your children. The enemy came up against your name. The enemy came up against your character. You will win. You will win. The enemy came up against your health. The enemy came up against your finances. The enemy came up against your vision. The enemy came up against your business. You will win. Yes, you will. Oh, you will win. I wanna let you know today that you will win. Hey, yeah. I know you're hurt. I know you're torn. I know you're broken, but you will win. All of those may be bad, but the truth still remains that in the name of Jesus. So lay your hands on yourself and say this. It's my winning season. It's my winning season. It's my winning season. Let the heathen declare it tonight. Say, it's my winning season. It's my winning season. It's my winning season. From now, this is what you gotta declare. Everything attached to me wins. Everybody sing it. Everything attached to me wins. Everything attached to me wins. Everything attached to me wins. Hey, hey, this is what we declare over you. You will win. I know you felt the pressure. One thing you gotta realize is you will win. Hey, yeah. Lay your hands on yourself and say this. It's my winning season. It's my winning season. Speak to your season. From the side of your season. Gotta lay hands on your home. You gotta lay hands on your mind. Lay hands on your money. Lay hands on your ministry. There's too much in you for you to lose in this place. But you are the sound of the greatest champion. That means that he is the champion. There is a champion in you. I said there is a champion in you. Unleash that champion in you. Unleash that champion in this season. Everything attached to me wins. 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 Last time everybody say, everything attached to me wins. Everything attached to me wins. If you believe that you are a winner, you want to open up your mouth and shout, I will win. I will win. I don't care how long you've been defeated. Shake your bed up. Shake your bed up. And you fight to win. I said you fight to win. The Lord told me, he said anybody can fight. But the question is, can you win? I came to tell somebody up in here tonight that there is something on the inside of you that's going to help you win in this season. And it's called a champion. You want to open up your mouth and shout, I am a champion. Everything attached to you wins. I said everything attached to you wins. Can you point to your neighbor and tell them, everything attached to you wins. Come on, let's say, everything
Should we start? A very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to thank you so much and welcome you to the 41st edition of the Radical Rnblive weekly hybrid press and public engagement with you at the ULS House. We are recording here live from the ULS House. We would like to bless the Lord for this far that we have come, this 30th day of October 2025. We are very excited and elated to have you here. We thank you, especially those that are here with us in the building, as well as the very many others that are here with us online. Thank you so much for making time. This is another exciting day that the Lord has made. We would like to glorify His name. We would like to start our day with an opening prayer that is going to come from us to us from one of our very own, one Viola, who is going to usher the day into the Lord, after which we shall delve into the different agenda items as the case shall be. Thank you so much. Let us receive Viola to bless us with an opening prayer so as to start the day. Thank you.
Let us pray. Let's humble ourselves and we pray. Father, King of Glory, we want to thank you so much for the gift of today. We want to thank you so much that we are gathered here to learn. We are gathered here to receive wisdom, to get knowledge on the different laws that we are going to embark on today. And we pray that the areas where we don't understand the things that are going to be discussed, that we are able to get that wisdom and to use it where it will be needed. And I pray for everyone that is within this place, that the Holy Spirit will come and be with us, to be in one accord, to sit in, to listen. And for those that have come to teach us, Lord, I pray that you bless them and you bless where they are coming from. And I pray that even us that are hosting them, Lord, that we be good hosts, that even at the end of the meeting, we are able to network so that we can grow your kingdom better. In Jesus' name I've prayed. Amen.
Thank you so much, Viola, for that prayer. We want to believe the Lord is in this house like He has always been, and would like to usher the discussions that we are going to have into His name. Thank you so much once again. We are going to have opening remarks from the CEO, who is currently indisposed, and her message is going to be delivered unto us by one of our very own programs officer, Miss Angom. Please, ladies and gentlemen, receive the opening remarks from the CEO so that we can move forth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Robert. Very good morning to you all. Good morning to our speakers. As already introduced, my name is Ruth Angom. I'm the Program Officer for Professional Development at the Uganda Law Society, and I am here delivering the CEO's remarks. Our distinguished guests today, Martin George Seruaji, Edwin Echiba, and the team from Tax Hub Uganda, the council members joining us online, all members of the Uganda Law Society joining us both physically and online, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Uganda Law Society, I welcome you to the 41st Rnblive weekly press and public engagement. Today's discussion is on two issues. One, the Copyright and Neighboring Rights Amendment Regulations. Two, the Tax Night series. The new copyright regulations introduce significant changes, particularly in the procedures for copyright registration. As practitioners, it is essential that we keep ourselves informed and well-grounded in these new developments so we can better guide and serve our clients in this evolving digital and creative economy. Equally important is the discussion on tax, a subject that affects every sphere of business and public life. It is crucial that lawyers and tax practitioners stay up to date with these changing dynamics. At the Uganda Law Society, we are deeply passionate about the professional growth of our members. We believe that platforms like this, which promote knowledge sharing, innovation, and continuous learning, are essential in enhancing our competence and relevance in a rapidly changing legal landscape. Thank you for taking the time to be a part of this engagement. I encourage you to participate actively, ask questions, and take full advantage of the insights that will be shared today. Once again, you're most welcome. Our CEO, Christine Awori. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ruth Angom, for delivering that message from the CEO. We want to thank you, Madam CEO, for those very warm remarks. We thank you for the guidance, the wisdom, and the leadership. And we are very confident that even in your absence, as you continue to conduct the work of the society, you have blessed us enough. Ladies and gentlemen, like has been said, we're excited about today's topics because, well, under the mandate of the Uganda Law Society and the Uganda Law Society Act, Section 3, to espouse information and help access to justice as well as help the government to administer justice. We're here as the Uganda Law Society to help to achieve that mission, and we also are in very, very much communication with our members who are always able and readily available to help to do what we have to do together. Today we are going to be discussing Copyright and Neighboring Rights Act, Rights Amendment Regulations. We have to take note as well that very recently, around 2-3 months ago, we were at the Parliament of Uganda rendering our comments in regard to the Copyrights Bill, which is going to be, of course, amended and also enacted, and we were able to share with us at some time as well, using a few other members who were here, Kenneth Muhanji particularly, who was leading the team, the intellectual property team, that came and at least shared with us the insights that we shared with the Parliament and also gave our comments about. But also we have been in touch with the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, the URSB, that are the people or the organization that manages and regulates copyright and intellectual property. And this time round, we want to see to it that the practice of copyright, which is a very, very interesting and intricate practice that we shall hear from Mr. Martin about, to be in position to know what we are doing and how we can best find ways to practice and make our practice easier as we are members, but also for the public that are also engaging us and the public that are listening in to us today. It's very important for them to understand before they come to council for guidance. It's important for them to know what they are pursuing so as to make it seamless as far as practice and expectations from the clients are concerned. So the Copyright and Neighboring Rights Amendment Regulations Statutory Instrument number 73 of 2025 were made on the 16th day of September 2025. That is very recent, and commenced on the 26th day of September 2025. They were made by the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, that's Honorable Norbert Mao, Mr. President, in exercise of his powers conferred upon him by Section 81 of the Copyright and Neighboring Rights Act, Cap 222, and on the recommendation of the Registrar of Copyright after consultation with the collecting societies. These regulations have introduced key changes, especially in the procedure for copyright registration. Today we are joined, very importantly, by a representative from the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, a body mandated under the URSB Act, Cap 217, to deliver a number of registration services, including the registration of copyright and neighboring rights, including literary works, scientific works, and artistic works. The individual that is going to grace us with this knowledge and understanding is an advocate and a registrar at the URSB with specialization in business registrations, copyright and neighboring rights, and legal compliance. He currently serves as the regulation officer under the Department of Copyright and Neighboring Rights. He is dedicated to promoting efficient business operations and the protection of intellectual property rights within Uganda's regulatory framework. His work focuses on facilitating legal reforms, strengthening compliance mechanisms, and supporting the growth of the creative and business sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like for you to join me to welcome Mr. Martin George Seruwaji, who is going to take us through this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, moderator, and the Uganda Law Society, the public at large. I would like to first and foremost send greetings from the Registrar General of the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, who was supposed to be here with you today, but unfortunately she had prior engagements, and I hope that I can ably represent her at this forum. I would also send greetings from the Department of Copyright and Neighboring Rights and the URSB family at large, the registration departments. They all send their greetings and they support the work that the Radical New Bird does. My name, as already mentioned, is Martin George Seruwaji. I'm a regulation officer in the Copyright and Neighboring Rights Department. This is a department that was carved out of the Intellectual Property Department. So previously we were a unit, but now we are a full department. And our focus has come out of the National Development Plan that is looking at the creative industry as a driver of economic growth. That's why they felt there was a need to create a department that is going to cater for creatives and ensure that copyright protection in Uganda is at par with all other regions and the world at large. So the topic for which I have been asked to speak today is the new developments in the copyright and neighboring rights landscape. The new developments that we have had now is the amendment of the regulations, the Copyright and Neighboring Rights Regulations of 2010. They have been amended, as mentioned by the moderator, on the 26th of September 2025. They came into effect, and the key thing about this amendment is that they have changed certain requirements that were previously there in the registration procedure. So if I can take you back a little bit, prior to the amendment, if you wanted to carry out a registration of a copyright, you had to make an application to the Registrar of Copyright, which is the Uganda Registration Services Bureau. And once you fill out that form, where we ask you for the author, we ask you for the title of the work, we ask you for so many other statutory requirements. Once you're done with that and you submit a copy of your work, we carry out an evaluation, we assess the work and ensure that it meets the legal requirements. Once that hurdle is jumped, we would then issue you with what we were calling a gazette notice. That was a notice for you to go to the gazette and gazette your application. And within 60 days, if no one had come in to object to that application, then we would proceed and register that copyright and issue you a certificate of registration. Now, as is practice at the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, we always evaluate and assess the regulations that we administer. And this is done to ensure that the regulations are desirable, they fit the times that we live in, and that they are working for the stakeholders. So we carried out what we call a regulatory impact assessment, and consultations widely with the collecting societies, the creative community, and the law firms, lawyers, and the entire public, especially during the consultations that were done during the copyright amendment bills, when we were carrying out those consultations of the copyright amendment bill. So what we found was that the creatives and the creators of these copyright works were being hindered from registering their works because of that gazetting requirement. The application cost about 50,000, and the gazetting requirement cost about 150,000 to gazette. So they kept asking us for a solution, and they kept giving us issues that they were finding with gazetting, and they asked us to carry out an assessment of whether the gazetting was needed. So what we did is that we sat down as the Bureau, listened to our stakeholders, and then tried to evaluate the regulations to see if they were still fit for purpose. And through our evaluations, we discovered that first and foremost, there was no country in the world, apart from Uganda, that was requiring gazettement of copyright applications. And the reason was simple. Copyright is unique. It's a unique form of intellectual property. It attaches to your work, to you. You get the copyrights when you create the work. There is no need for registration. There is no need for a formality for you to have the copyrights. So it attaches to you immediately you create the work. So we started wondering why it was necessary to even have it published in the Gazette if it's already attached to you. So that was one of the justifications for the removal, is that it's a unique form of intellectual property, and when we carried out an assessment with other countries around the world, we found that the Gazette requirement was an unnecessary extra burden to the registration process. Secondly, registration is voluntary. You don't have to register your copyright. However, it's encouraged that you actually register your copyright because of the legal benefits that you get from registration, which I'll get into a little bit later. So registration is a process that we encourage all creators to do so that they can enjoy certain legal benefits, and there are also other market reasons that you require. Now, when we are looking at the Gazette requirement, it came up that it was actually a costly barrier to the registration, and it was not offering any consequential benefit for the creators. So we reviewed that, and in our assessment, we felt that the time that you spend, the 60 days that someone has to spend to wait, if anyone can object, the 150,000 for our upcoming creatives and SMEs, it was a very high cost. If you do a cost-benefit analysis, it wasn't giving it a real say. So we decided that was one of the other justifications for the removal. Thirdly, there was nothing that this requirement to Gazette was giving us in terms of objections. Ever since the requirement was done in 2010, there had only been one objection during the Gazette period. It was not being used. It had no utility function. no one was actually going to look at the gazette and then come and object. Most people were objecting or going to court later on after the registration has occurred. So the utility function was not there for the gazette. And then finally, we looked at what we would get from encouraging people to register, what would they benefit, and what would us as the government or policymakers get out of the registration function. First and foremost, the data that we collect through registration is very crucial when we are planning for how to invest in the creative sector. So it was more important that the registration of copyright is encouraged by removing the barriers that were hindering it. So if I could give you a statistic, out of 1,852 copyright applications that were submitted to the Bureau, about 952 just remained at application. A person would apply, and then when you give them the gazette notice to go and publish, they will just sit on the application because they didn't have the money to go ahead and publish. So it wasn't really working in favor of the stakeholders. So those were some of the justifications that we provided. Then we had consultations with the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, the first Parliamentary Council, and we reviewed and had several meetings and reviewed these regulations, and it was felt that it was timely for them to be amended. And that is what the Minister of Justice did and carried out this amendment of the regulations. So what does the amendment do now? The amendment simply simplifies the process that you go through if you want to register your copyright. You make the application as before. We carry out the review and assessment of that application, but now we don't issue you a gazette notice, we issue you the certificate of registration. Once we feel that you have met the legal requirements, we issue you with your certificate of registration, and if someone wants to object, they can object post-registration. There is still that option. It's optional because the law says a person aggrieved by the registration of the copyright may, by ordinary letter, lodge an objection against the registration. So there is that option that someone may object to the registration of the copyright, provide reasons why they are objecting, and we can either cancel the registration or amend the registration. And also the other alternative, of course, for the parties is always to seek legal redress. Could reach out to the lawyers or seek legal redress themselves in the courts of law. So the benefits of removing the requirement for publication outweighed anything that the Gazette was putting in place, and that is what happened. So the process is now streamlined. It's very easy. It costs only 50,000 shillings, and then you get your copyright certificate. So the next thing I could speak about is that why do people register their copyright if it's voluntary? Yeah, as I said from the beginning, that your copyrights or the rights that you have from your created works, you have them immediately you create the work. However, registration offers you certain legal benefits, and some people register for market reasons, which I would elucidate upon right now. The first legal benefit that you get is that once you have a certificate of registration, it serves as prima facie proof of ownership. It's a presumption. You get a presumption that you are the owner of those copyrights in the created work. So it means that you can provide it as evidence in court. Under the law, it's accepted as evidence in court. It has other functions. For example, if you want to if someone is using your music, for example, and has posted it on YouTube and is claiming it's theirs, usually YouTube asks you for proof of ownership before they can take down that work. One of the ways that you can prove ownership easily is by having a certificate that is issued by a government authority that shows that they actually reviewed your application and gave you the presumption that you are the owner. Usually, those are some of the benefits, the legal benefits. It's also for public record. Our registries are public, so you have your work on record. If someone else carries out a search and finds that you're the owner of the work, they can't then argue that they infringed on your work by mistake, because your work is available and they know that that is your work. So it helps you, even if you have like a court case or a matter in court, that your work is on a public record. Thirdly, it's just for market reasons. If you are entering into a licensing agreement or an assignment, because these are property rights that can be transferred or assigned, you can easily prove that you are the owner of the works that you are assigning. Even the investing party is easily swayed and put to rest that, okay, the person I'm dealing with is actually the owner of the work. So it has those market benefits, enables you to commercialize your work, enables you to provide it as proof that you're the owner of the work and probably get into these business deals. And then lastly, as a government, as I mentioned earlier, it enables us to use that data that we have on the registry for policy making and ensuring that we balance these rights with the rights of the public. So apart from that, those are some of the benefits that you get when you register. And what have we seen ever since the amendment came into place? Previously, there was very low registration rates for copyright. I think in the previous years, before when the department came about, we used to have about 2 applications a week. But since we have a focused department now with enough personnel, we had seen the applications rise. If I can take the months of July and August, I think July we had about 19, then August we had about 23 applications. However, after the removal of the Gazette, September 26th to October 26th, we have had about 45 applications that have come in. So clearly there is an upward trend that is showing that once you remove the barriers and the hurdles that are inhibiting creatives from taking advantage of these legal protections that we provide, they will actually utilize them. And we are going to do an evaluation for the rest of the year and see if the law is fit for purpose. So as I mentioned, as the Uganda Registration Service Bureau, we continue to evaluate all the laws that we administer, and we ask the public, the Uganda Law Society, anyone that has problems or issues with provisions of the laws or regulations that we administer, you can just write to us, send in your proposals. We are always evaluating them for desirability and ensuring that they are performing for the people they are meant to perform for. So I would like to thank you for your attention, and that is my presentation for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Martin George, for that very, very critical discussion, which of course stands to benefit council and the general public. Of course, you have ably outdone your task, and we really appreciate the regards from the URSB, especially the Registrar General, who is a friend of ours and is very, very intentional on involving us in whatever work that you're doing. We thank you. There was a case digest that we attended around 4 months ago. She was very critical about our attendance, and we also benefited. We were able to compare notes. So thank you so much. We want to thank you as well for bringing this very important information because you know the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, the offices at Kololo, but also the ones at Amam, always have a notice board and always are always online because they have been, I think, one of the biggest movers of digital transformation in regard to the physical registration of anything else. Companies are now registrable online and many, many other services. So they have been a very key player in as far as digital transformation is concerned. And for us, this is a positive that you are concerned about this, the public, you're concerned about the stakeholders, but we're also concerned about the monies that have not been coming in. If very many applications have been out of 1,852, only 952, that's already half, are not coming back. That means we're forfeiting so much money, at least for the 150,000, and that 150,000 is, you know, it's not so much, but for a person who is trying to make it out, and the reason the person is basing on for the Gazette not being necessary, as you have since found out, I think is a positive. We need to appreciate the Uganda Registration Services Bureau and the impact assessment for you going around speaking to law firms. At least we've had law firms have been visited, and that aspect was a thorn, we must say. It's not easy to say it out, but when the stakeholders, or when you use your data to find that members are not returning because of the Gazette, and then you pull it down, and you're the only, Uganda was the only country slipping behind on that aspect. So, well, that is a very, very noble gesture to appreciate that something is not going well, and it is time to especially make a few changes. The aspect that there have been no objections, and there's only one objection in a very long time, is indicting if you didn't do anything. And if anybody came here and gave that statistic, which we are not you, then we would be looking at you from another angle. So yes, that is very, very important. And the Uganda Law Society is here to, facilitate such discussions. These are issues at hand. These are topics that need to be brought to the fore, to the public, and to council, because council is also a very key player. The public does not necessarily get to register their copyright. When there is council, it's easier to understand the legal terminologies, the timelines. Those 60 days were so many, and sometimes some people would, change their priorities. 60 days is so long to wait, and we shall be hearing what it means to wait for so long a time, and yet you don't have any results. And imagine you are expecting a deal, somebody wants to sign you up, but the best you can tell them is, I applied for a copyright, I am waiting on the Gazette notice to elapse 60 days. And the businessman who is time conscious will most likely abandon the idea and most likely leave you out there without business. So yes, we thank you so much. The process remains the same. The evaluation is now the most important. The application is 50,000. The evaluation is done by the body, which is now a department. And the next thing, you're getting a certificate of registration. Not that they haven't necessarily done away with objections. Objections are provided for, only they come after the registration has been done. And then the other aspect of the battle or the inquiry between the copyright owner and the one objecting is left to the courts of law to determine. Or URSB is actually a quasi-judicial. With the new amendment. Yes. Yeah. They're sick. Yeah. Yeah. So URSB will also be the one-stop center for such little bit of inquiries from one another. So yes, we want to thank you so much once again for the opportunity and for the platform that you have presented, and also for the members who are listening in. We are speaking Uganda Registration Services Bureau copyright amendment regulations, and we are imagining and we are being told that the procedure for registration of copyright has been slightly changed, but a very key step that has been taken is the Gazette registration, and the Gazette notice has been done away with, and all you have to do is apply, and if your assessment or if the evaluation of your documentation is sufficient and satisfactory, the next thing you get is a certificate of registration. So we are very delighted about that discussion, and we would like to just notify members that if you have any questions, because as we said, copyright is intricate, we are very open to questions, and answers will be given by the members that are here before us. We have that session that will come after our talk, and we are going to go into the next item. This is the Uganda Law Society, and we are together trying to push for espousing information, access to justice, and helping the government to access, to administer justice in the country. We are going to be listening in to the next agenda item, which is the Tax Night series, and this especially is because tax is something that touches everybody, whether you are in the Kampala city, or you're in the village, or you're in the plain. Whatever you make a payment for has a tax aspect attached to it, and because, as we have realized, tax is a very major issue in the world today. It touches every business, every citizen, every government. Tax laws and policies are very, very important to ensure sustainable development, funding public services, and economic growth. At the same time, tax systems are under pressure from rapid technological change, globalization, shifting business models, digital services, and increasing demands for transparency and accountability. Now, in Uganda, the tax regime is under constant review, because every year, at least, we have noted that the government is always changing the Tax Income Act, and amendments to the tax legislation happen on an annual basis, as I've just said, and it's very essential for tax lawyers and tax practitioners to keep abreast of this ever-evolving tax regime. So today we are being joined by a member of the Tax Hub Uganda, who will tell us so much about the initiative called Tax Night series, aimed at focusing dialogue and knowledge exchange in tax practice. And the individual that is going to be addressing us is a tax consultant himself. He's also a public speaker with 8 years of professional experience. You can be sure what he's going to tell us is going to be very deep. He is currently the tax legal manager and heads the legal service line at BDO Uganda. He has an extensive experience in rendering tax advisory, compliance, tax planning and restructuring services, tax audit support, transfer pricing, legal advisory, and company secretarial services to Uganda and international clients. He's also keen on tax dispute resolution and represents taxpayers before the Tax Appeals Tribunal, that is the TAT, and the courts of law. He holds a Bachelor of Laws degree from the UCU, Mukono, and a postgraduate diploma in tax legal practice from the Law Development Center, and a postgraduate diploma in tax and revenue administration from the East Africa School of Taxation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me Mr. Edwin Echiba, who is going to take us through the topic of Tax Night series. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert, for the kind introduction. Robert, if I could just confirm how much time I have so that I can. Thank you. Thank you, Robert, and also a special gratitude to the ULS Council, the Secretariat, the distinguished guests in attendance, but also our colleagues joining us online. It's always a pleasure to get back home at the ULS. And I think I just want to pick it up from where Andrew left. Why tax practice? Tax practice, like we all know, to those of us in legal practice, tax is arguably the most dynamic area of legal practice. So dynamic in the sense that our laws get amended frequently every year. The authorities, tax is where you can have an authority this year, next year it's very inapplicable. There's a lot of transformation, so there is a lot of expectation of you as a consultant, you as a practitioner to stay on top of the game. But also notably, we are all taxpayers. In everything you do, you're paying tax at some point. But also if you look at those interested in the numbers, if you look at our national budget, tax revenue comprises of about 45% of the national budget. So if we're going to fund the budget, it will come from you and I. So it's imperative of you and I to know a thing or two about tax. That's why we are quite very passionate about tax. And we implore each of you to develop that passion, that love for tax. And we're here to demystify that notion that tax is very complex, tax is boring. We believe it is not. Rather, if we appreciate the principles, we believe you can get to know a thing or two about tax. And that's where we come from. We as a tax hub are very interested and very big on demystifying tax. We believe we owe a duty to the broader citizenry to break down these concepts so that you and I, that old lady in the village, others can get to know a thing or two about tax, can appreciate, but even you as a practitioner, so that you get to know a thing or two about tax. And that was one of our core goals why the Tax Hub was created. We believed we could contribute, that was our modest and humble contribution to the space, to the practice. We believe if we broke down a few concepts, ultimately if there's anyone out there who's learning a thing or two about tax, it is very, very fundamental, because a very enlightened tax citizenry is also very good for the country. A tax alert generation, a tax aware citizenry is able to comply with their tax obligations, but also know at what point they should rise up to the excesses of the Revenue Authority. So that's by and large what we do as a tax hub. We started out over about a year ago, and well, that was how we started, just breaking down these concepts. We do alerts on a very summarized alert. It's a one-pager. If there is any leading authority, be it on tax, we had to come and summarize that alert for you in a very simplified manner. It's a one-pager. The idea is we're keeping out the legalese. Can that person who doesn't know a thing or two about tax, if they read the alert, the expectation, the thinking is they're able to understand a thing or two at least. So that's how we started out, and we were doing this in real time. So every time an authority would get rendered by the tribunal or the courts of law, we had to pick it up and do a summarized alert in real time. The idea is if you're going to do a very good alert, but it comes 2 weeks, a week later, possibly it's not serving the end user. So the idea is we need to do this on a regular, a little quicker, but also our tax space is fast evolving. So if we're going to get left behind, a notable example is we've all seen the good strides done by the Tax Appeals Tribunal, the rendering decisions quite oftenly. So if we don't live up to the billing, if we don't follow these authorities regularly, we stand to be left behind. Yet there is possibly very good jurisprudence being rendered by the tribunal and the courts. So that was what the tax hub speaks to. And months down the road, there was a lot of lawyer following garnering in. We believed we needed to broaden the debate. So we felt, yes, there is need for more engagement, and that's how the Tax Hub podcast was started. The need for that continuous engagement to broaden the discussion, but also get different perspectives. We didn't want the lawyers to be discussing alone. We don't want the accountants to be discussing alone. The idea is, can we have a joint effort? Tax being a shared space, we have lawyers practicing this space, we have accountants practicing this space. The idea is, can we have consensus? Can we come together? Can we break down these concepts for the citizenry, but also for our own need? That's how the podcast started. About 10 months ago, we started, and in there we're getting eminent practitioners, industry experts, leading consultants across board, law firms, the notable law firms, the tier 1 law firms, the profound law firms. Not only that, we were doing the same with the audit firms, all the big and leading audit firms. We hosted them on the podcast. But also we believe our discussions should be relevant. That's why we had to indulge and involve some of the industry experts. So if we're discussing a sector and industry, look out for the notable player in that sector to join us, just to give the debate perspective, to break down and give us some of those industry insights. We believe such contribute to a very enriching conversation. So that's how we started out. 10 months down the road, we've since had 11 episodes of the Taxa podcast. And in those 11, we've had 26 guests. Of those 26, 7 were from leading law firms. Those are our colleagues, very notable law firms. 7 of the same were from the regulator, Uganda Revenue Authority. We cannot sit and discuss tax without listening to our peers on the other end, so they can give us some of those insights, some of those considerations to take into regard when possibly enforcing these taxes. But also we had about six of our colleagues from audit firms. Audit firms are very critical because as a shared space, we can't discuss tax solely as lawyers. No, the accountants need to also partake of the discussion. So we've had 6 colleagues from the leading audit firms in the country, but also we had 3 industry leaders. 10 months down the road, the podcast has grown, is still growing and still here. So still we were able to garner, there was a lot of following, there was a lot of interest from the general public. Possibly we were doing a thing or two in advancing and demystifying tax. We then had to curate a concept. We believed, yes, the podcast is doing good, the flyers are there doing a thing or two, but it's not enough. What more can we do to contribute to this space? What more can we do to see to it that every single person, you and I can partake, can indulge in this discussion regarding tax? And that's how we created the concept of the Tax Night series. So the Tax Night series was mainly, we believe we can take the discussions. We were here to demystify that notion that not serious discussion shouldn't only be held in a boardroom, the 4 corners of a boardroom, or in conference halls. We believe in this day and age, a discussion can be held anywhere. And there's that notion, if you go to a restaurant, if you go to a bar, if you go to the gardens, you're possibly not discussing anything valuable. But we are to prove that, no, we can actually do that. So that's one of the cornerstones of the Tax Night series. We believed we could have and broaden this discussion in a very fun, sociable, and very easy atmosphere. Yeah, easy in the sense that you don't have to have the pressures of, I'm coming from this farm, I'm delegated to represent. No, you're coming as an individual. You're sitting down to engage with your peers, with your colleagues. But also the other important thing we believed, we needed to create that harmony, that unity. So the idea is, if I am in an audit firm, I should know my contemporary in a law firm, I should know my contemporary at the URA, I should know my contemporary in an industry. The idea is, can we come together and discuss this? If you look at our tax cluster, we do have the tax symposium. It's an annual basis. ICPU does the same. It's held on an annual basis. Why should we negate the discussion around tax to an annual basis? We believe we can have these conversations on a daily, on a regular, because the person the regulator that we're going up in arms with is improving on a daily basis. So there was very much need for us to engage on a regular. So we believe the series, the Tax Night series, would be an avenue, an opportunity where we can come together, not as a tax consultant, but as a Ugandan. Can we just come together, discuss a thing or two about tax? That's solely why we started the Tax Night series. So it is a monthly series. It's held every first Thursday of the month. And the idea is when you get there, it's towards the weekend, the stress of the week is possibly shed off. So we believe we can get down, discuss, and indulge on a thing or two. So what happens at the Tax Night series? So the idea is we get a very social setting, preferably a restaurant, a bar, the gardens. We get in there, discuss, and have these serious conversations. You're having your cup of tea, you're having a bite, you're having a drink, you're having water, we can still have serious discussions. So how does it roll out? So we start with what you call a tax bingo. A tax bingo is mainly we have different facts that we have on a paper. The idea is the facts are from we attendees, someone who has worked at the URA, someone who has a qualification. You're supposed to network. That's one of the cornerstones of the Tax Night series. Network, get to know each other. So as you move around, as you engage each other, you get to know, hi, my name is Robert, I work with ULS. Hi, my name is this, I work with ULS. Have you handled any of this? So the idea is, by the time you're living there, you've garnered and you've possibly gotten to know 1 or 2 persons outside your normal circles. So that's how the tax bingo runs. Then after tax bingo, we then get into group discussions. So we sit in a group setting. The idea is in a group setting, we mix the groups randomly. Also, the idea behind that was for us to network. If I'm coming from office, I shouldn't come and sit with my colleagues. I possibly know them. I'll meet them tomorrow at office. But if I've come, it's imperative for me to get to know any other person out those ends. So the groups that we are mixed randomly. Then different topics are spread out. The idea is you discuss as a group. So in so discussing, you get to know each other, you get to appreciate different views, perspectives. Then each group will carry out presentations, and they're not very technical. You're not going to cite authorities or statistics. No, they are very simplified concepts. The idea is we should demystify and have tax very much simplified. So that's what the group discussions are. Then in there, we skip to the fun bit. We believe we can have a quiz. Very many of us attend quiz sessions, on a weekly basis. But why can't we have a quiz on just tax? Why can't we break down this concept? Why can't you have a tax-themed quiz? So that's exactly what we're speaking to. So we then skip into a tax-themed quiz. It's a digital quiz. You don't have to come with the papers, no. But also it has different categories: current affairs, domestic tax, international tax. And to you who's not a tax consultant, we also have categories and not necessarily tax. So the idea is everyone should partake of it. So even if you're coming and you're not a tax consultant, you can still answer a thing or two with the current affairs in there. So we get to break down these concepts in a very fun, relatable manner. So that's what the quiz entails. Then you crown the night with a guest speaker. So definitely we believe, being the younger generation, we need to learn of the seniors who have come before us. So we pick out any eminent practitioner, be it in the practice, be it from the regulator, be it from the audit firm, be it from the industry. Anyone we believe has a notable experience, has possibly garnered a wealth of experience in tax, can speak a thing or two. So you come in there, you share your personal story, your experience, your journey. But most importantly, you should also speak to the attendees. We're able to learn of your rich experience. You're able to give us tips. How should that young accountant, that young lawyer who's attending, they're looking up to you, possibly have decades of experience. What does it take for them to get to your levels? So that's how we crown the night with a guest speaker. But in there, it's fun. The different rounds, gifts are being won, presents are being won, people are networking, people are having fun, people are eating, people are drinking. But most importantly, people are learning. So our 3 core goals in there is network, learn, but have fun. So that's what the tax night mainly entails, and why the tax nights. And some of the questions we get often asked is, do you have to be a tax consultant for me to attend? Do you have to be an expert? No, you don't. It's open to anyone and everyone. And yes, if you look at our socials, you'll get the details on how you can make the payment, how you can attend. The details are in there, but it's held every first Thursday. But also, why should we have such discussions? We believe we need to get actively involved in transforming the way things are being done. If our colleagues have possibly partaken their experience, their practice for the last decades, we believe we as a younger generation can contribute in one way or the other. We are not reinventing the wheel. We're possibly just adding a thing or two to what our practitioners have possibly partaken. And just to give a little more context, we held our very inaugural edition on the 2nd of October, and we're very honored to have a very eminent practitioner. Anyone in the tax space looks up to that gentleman, the distinguished and the eminent Mr. Cephas Birungi, a wealth of experience from tax policy. He has worked at the Ministry of Finance, he's worked at the URA, he's worked at a prominent law firm. So he's someone we all look up to. He was kind enough to come and share with us his vast experience, but also he gave us tips on how we can garner and better experience. That's the very first edition. Our second edition is next week on Thursday, 6th November. And we're also equally honored to have another eminent and distinguished practitioner. Those of us who know him is Mr. Joseph Luswata. Mr. Joseph Luswata is a tax partner at SNL Advocates. To those of us who know SNL, that's one of the tier 1 leading law firms in the country. So Joseph, just like Mr. Birungi, will equally share with us his humble experience, what it takes to get there, and most importantly, also share with us insights, advice, tips on how we can better experience, how we can grow. So that's what entails. We have quite a number of exciting speakers in our subsequent episodes. Yeah, and all you can tell, if you've never attended, possibly you need to rethink, you need to sit with that you attend the very next one, because there's a lot you learn, there's a lot you gain. Yeah, the value proposition in there is undeniable. So, Robert, I believe by and large I've spoken a thing or two about Tax Night series. I don't know if I've left any, but certainly that is what the Tax Night series are. You can also follow on all our social media platforms. We post the videos, the photos of what transpires in there. So if you need to know a thing or two, you can check out our social media platforms. We're available on all platforms. Get to know what happens in there, get to look and watch what happens in there so that you can partake, so that you can consider. Thank you very much.
Wow. Big round of applause for Edwin. Edwin, this is mouth watering. This is very, very, very timely. Network, learn, and have fun. That is a very good concept. You know, these quiz that we have in different hangout places. Of course, some of them are bars. We can't shy away from them. Others are restaurants. Others are gardens. And you've seen, it's fun. It's really fun to have those quiz sessions, but they're asking you different questions of maybe history, current affairs, and guys have fun. Actually, there's one that I know at Tells in Bukoto every Wednesday. That is really personal. Please don't be lied to. But every Wednesday, my friends tell us we're going to Tells because there is a quiz session. But now, for the lawyers, this is a notch taken higher. Imagine you're having a quiz on tax. All right? This is the first ever. This was the inaugural. The inaugural was, you said, a year ago, the inaugural. A month ago on the 2nd of October. And it was also graced by one of the most top lawyers, Counsel Cephas Birungi. And for us, that is supposed to speak into what we look at as being able to help to transform practice in Uganda and the different categories. Of course, we have various clusters as the Ugandan Law Society. We have different clusters of practice within the organization. We have a tax cluster, we have an IP cluster, we have a IP and copyright cluster, we have a family cluster, and we have different senior colleagues that have always helped to walk the young lawyers. And this is a message I want to believe for the young lawyers, because there is nothing better than having a mentor wherever you are in your practice, because you are less than 5 years in practice, and there is no other way to make it easier than have a mentor in your practice. And this is one of the most humble opportunities for you to get a mentor for yourself, because as he has said, tax is the most dynamic aspect, especially of practice, because every year we're having an amendment. So you need to be on top of your game, like he said. And now we're trying to make it easier. You don't have to be in office. You don't have to be in a suit. You don't have to be at a very high level and walk in with maybe your assistants. You can walk in as you are. Walk in as you are. Just follow the timelines. There is another one on the 6th of November, and Advocate Joseph Luswata, who taught some of us, is a very senior lecturer for those that have been in his class. He's a very senior tax lawyer who has very good record in courts of law, and that for us is supposed to mean there is an opportunity to mentor and bridge the gap between the young and the older lawyers who are also very humble. You know, we fear to approach them because they have left a very indelible mark in practice. And when we hear the name Cephas Birungi, you just even can't imagine what it means to meet him. But imagine how it has been brought closer. The Tax Night series brings such senior lawyers closer. You get to learn other professionals, auditors, accountants. You know, at BDO, there's just not only lawyers. BDO comprises so many different professionals. As he has said, you don't want to meet your fellow colleagues who you are with in office. This is the time to blend. And that is what happens at the Tax Night series. And of course, there is that procedure, the bingo. The bingo is going to help you, as he has said, to, get a few facts, get a few realities, either from the regulator or from different individuals who are immersed in the industry and have one or two facts that we don't have. Thereafter, you're going to be enjoying, you're going to get into a group discussion, as he said, get to know people, discuss different topics, have the quiz, and listen to a guest speaker. But remember, all this is coming with a bite, a drink, and fun. You're not just going to be there getting stressed with reading the acts and reading the regulations and getting to be checked on which amendment came in. You're going to be having a cup of coffee, a plate of chips, and a brown bottle for those that consume that bottle, which is also okay, and fun with your different friends and different colleagues. So this is a very welcome idea. We want to very much associate ourselves with it. It is something that is an eye-opener. We have not had such. I don't want to imagine that we have had one of this kind. As you said, it was inaugural, and we want to also associate as the Uganda Law Society. We are going to, as much as possible, help to garner support in as far as participation is concerned. We're not sure about the numbers that you have, but we know every beginning is not very easy. We are very sure that the numbers are going to grow. One thing that is very sure is there is a very big platform for mentorship. One story that I found very important in the Bible was how Moses mentored Joshua, because before Moses was called by the Lord, he was told that he's not going to reach the promised land. And what he had to do was mentor somebody. And then Joshua had to take over. If you read in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, he was given very strict instructions to be very critical on following the instructions both in the Bible and those that were given to him by his mentor Moses. And that is exactly how the Israelites were able to reach the promised land. So if there's anything you need to pick from today's Tax Night series discussion, find a mentor while having fun. The purpose is to network, learn, and have fun. That is supposed to be the discussion that we are going to coin ourselves around. And Edwin is also a member, as you're very aware, especially those that are with us online. There is also an opportunity for non-lawyers. We have those that are in the public. Remarks and an announcement to make in regard to a law student study trip to London that has been organized, and we're going to be getting the details after. This is going to be our last discussion. It's an announcement, and thereafter we shall hear from a few individuals that have joined us. They joined us after we had begun. You're most welcome. We're very delighted to have you in our presence. We are going to listen in to the president. The president? Yes, we shall be listening in to a member of the Makerere Law Society who is going to help us demystify this topic, and thereafter we shall have, of course, a number of questions that are going to be asked to the members that are before us today, answers that will come thereafter before we can wrap the day. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Makerere Law Society to engage us in this discussion and the announcement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Robert. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. To the esteemed Law Council, we are profoundly honored and exceedingly humbled having been given this opportunity to come and demystify our cause. My name is Peter Tushabomwe, a third-year law student from Makerere University, and I'm here to talk about the law students trip that has been organized by Makerere Law Students Society. So, imagine standing where the Magna Carta was sealed in 1215, where Professor Dicey referred to rule of law, where Lady Hale shattered glass ceilings in the UK Supreme Court. This is London. Not just a tourist destination, but a living archive of constitutional evolution. Now, as intending lawyers, we are not also seated. every day and every day we see how best we can contribute to transformation of the legal framework in Uganda. As Makerere Law Society, we came up with this project, the Law Students Trip to London. And what is the essence of this project? First and foremost, of course, needless to say that our laws are defined by common law. It's what that makes us. So, picture this. Uganda's 1995 constitution, our own blueprint, forged in the fires of the Constituent Assembly after decades of dramatic plot twists from the 1962 independence fanfare to the stormy suspensions of the 70s and 80s, the 1995 constitution arrived, promising stability, rights, and democracy. Yet, like any Ugandan drama, it's seen more amendments than a student's last-minute coursework assignment. Today, we as disciples of the law decide to board a plane to go to London, where the birth of the common law occurred, which underpins our constitution, to physically trace the ideas and gain a deeper insight in the principles behind modern constitutionalism, a thread that is gently woven in the laws that define us. When we go to London, we are going to visit historical sites and key places related to the legal field. We are going to look at the courts of judicature. Our purpose of going to the courts of judicature is to visit the chancery courts, the architects of equity, where equitable whispers shoved the legal saw, assess and evaluate the implementation of the law by the courts in the UK, and juxtapose with Ugandan judicial framework to ascertain whether we proceed as the original framers of the law intended it, or we long deviated from the track and we ought to get back onto the track. When we visit these courts, we are going to draw a comparative analysis and see how the law is being implemented or interpreted by the judges the other side, how it was interpreted by the judges the other side, laying precedents that bind us to date, and look at our judicature here, what they are actually doing, how they interpret the same laws, and what precedents do they lay for us, and then decide for ourselves whether we are on track, as I have said. We shall also visit the parliament, and of course, the parliament, we all know it's the law-making organ of any country or state. Now, this is an opportunity for us law students to draw a comparative analysis between the composition of the UK Parliament and look at ours here, the status of the people that we elect, look at the debates the other side, look at the debates that we have here, look at the laws that we pass. Are they intended for the common good as they do it the other side, or there is an invisible force behind it which we do not know? And of course, about the parliament, we all know that United Kingdom is a parliamentary sovereignty. Parliamentary sovereignty simply means that it is the parliament that basically makes the rules and everything, as opposed to our system here that is a presidential system. It is the president that is at the helm of the government. The other side, it's the parliament that is at the helm. So we shall also be able to see the advantages and disadvantages on each side, and then come to a conclusion as law students whether we need a change, perhaps to adopt a parliamentary sovereignty. If not, we stick to what we have today. On top of that, we shall also visit key places. By key places, what I mean the historical sites. As law students, I believe we have studied about, or even lawyers, our seniors in the profession have studied about the Marlborough conferences, the Lancaster conference, the Orchard House, where the indigenous first president of Uganda lived while he was in exile. So we are going to have an opportunity to visit these key places. Now, imagine a law student walking in the halls of these historic chambers wherein our country's laws were birthed. The same places these 1961 delegates set foot. The same place where the first indigenous president resided whilst in exile, actualizing these precedents beyond the four walls of the lecture room to physical manifestation. We shall also interact with an advanced legal system or the professionals the other side. They will guide us on how they have been able to keep up with a transformative democracy such that we may or might pick a leaf and we come back and implement this in the near future. Lastly, we are also going to visit the palace, the Buckingham Palace. Now, this is needless to say that our first head of state, in essence, was the late Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. This is where she resided. So, as law students, when we visit such a place, nothing surmounts setting foot where history, law, and constitutional legacy converge. This Buckingham Palace, the heartbeat of British monarchy, and where countries and where centuries of constitutional evolution have unfolded, exploring its unique role as a monarchical power, and of course, the intense admiration of its beauty. As I conclude, this is our humble appeal to our seniors in the legal field. You have any law student, you have a child that is pursuing a law degree, please do not hesitate to send that child with us to go to where it all started and relearn the process and learn what to do and implement. I will call upon my colleague with whom I came, Bale Francis, to expound more on the essence of this project. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. Just a correction. My name is not Bale Francis, it's Hani Bale. It's an honor to stand before you all. Good morning to everyone. Like I've said, my name is Hani Bale, a year 3 student at Makerere University, doing law. The legal field is a very, very big world. It has things you know of, but it also has things you don't know of. Those are things that seem to be emerging in our area, but already established points of law in the UK. That's where I want to continue from with my friend's submission. The other intention of the tour is to give you an exposure to those very many fields, what you need to put into consideration in case you want to further your studies. Let me say post-colonial, it could be an undergraduate and anything. Emerging fields like post-colonial and the law that we haven't really looked at or had in our jurisdiction. The tour comes with an interaction and a study tour, and a visit to the very many universities in London, specifically in London, like University of London, but it also comes with an interaction, one-on-one talk with representatives from the very many universities like Oxford, Cambridge, Edinburgh, and all those that you know of. Then there is also an interaction and getting to know what scholarships are available. Most of us are very conversant with Chevening, Commonwealth, but each university in the UK has its own scholarships. So this is an opportunity for you to come to know what you need to have and how exactly you can be eligible for those scholarships. And then being a forest student could be quite challenging. So that tour comes with a chance to have conversations with Ugandans and other foreign students in the UK. They'll share with you their experience. If they face any challenges, how exactly did they go about them? So whoever you are, wherever you are, this thing has no age cap. You know, studying has no age number. Age is just a number. So wherever you are in the legal field, in the legal fraternity, this could be an opportunity for you to come and exploit and utilize it to the maximum so that you further your legal dreams. It's an opportunity for you to come get on track. Thank you very much. Allow me to invite my friend, beautiful Gabi, to come let you know about the prices. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chomhendo Gabriela, a Yathri student at law school. I'm here to discuss with you how we are bringing to you London on a budget. We are going to have very many inclusions. The full price is $2,985. This price has been subsidized, and since it's difficult for us to access London, UK, people getting visas going to the UK is relatively very hard. But this trip has been subsidized, and this has been possible with our sponsors. First of all, we have the British Council on board. The British Council deals with education abroad, especially in the UK, and having it on board has helped us, one, access the UK for education purposes, and two, it has helped us subsidize, get a relatively cheaper price for what we are going for. Another sponsor we have, and we are thanking, is the Uganda Airlines. They have had our back, and they're having our back. They are subsidizing our price, helping us go to the UK, helping us with the visas, whatever process is being helped by the Uganda Airlines. The inclusions, we have a visa, we have a return air ticket. They are not only taking us, but returning us. We have accommodation for the 7 days. The trip will go on for a whole week, and the accommodation is in a student place, not hotels, because we need somewhere that will be secure for all of us. And this trip provides a place like a hostel for students from abroad, students from Uganda coming to study, and it is fully secured and fully having whatever we need. The trip will have three meals a day. That's in the morning, in the afternoon, and dinner. Inclusive a London travel card. This travel card will enable us move wherever in London, wherever we want, using different modes of transport available. We shall have an on-ground tour guide. With us, we shall have a tailored person to move with us, guide us in whatever place we shall be going to. They'll guide us wherever we shall be, wherever activities we shall be having. We have sightseeing costs are covered in the $985. Most of these places are historical places, are places of dignitaries, but with the $2,000, we shall be able to enter these places without paying, because that fee covers all those costs. We shall have airport transfers from our airport to where we shall be staying, and from there to the airport. We shall also have a hop-on and hop-off bus tour with a tailored person to take us through London. And lastly, we shall also have a UK mobile line credited with voice calls and internet data for all the 7 days. The beauty about this trip is we have offers and discounts. One of the offers is running till today. The booking fee is $395. But if you can manage to book by today, there is a discount, and you'll be paying $350. That's a $45 discount. Another discount we have is by December. The full amount is $2,985, but if you pay the full amount by December 15th, you'll be able to pay less $100. That's $2,885. I encourage all of you to join us. Law students doesn't mean people at the university. we mean anyone still studying. Law is still evolving and you guys are still studying. You can come join us. Come tell a friend to tell a friend. We shall be expecting you. I'll read some of the numbers that you can contact in case you want to register with us. 0757 98 71 89 and 0777 56 00 17. These are numbers. One will be for a Makerere law student. We have her with us here, and one will be with a lady that works at Wide Tours and Travel, another company that's backing us. So contact us, feel free, come let's have fun, come let's study. Yes, and I think that's all. Thank you so much. Oh, lastly, we have our president with us, the big man, then who has made this project possible. The contacts. 0757 98 71 89 0777 56 00 17.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to you all. Well, mine is quite simple. I believe the lady and the gentleman have done us quite some justice in terms of breaking down what this trip is intended for, the prices, and how you will benefit, not just as a student, I believe, but also as a legal practitioner. The lady has said it's not just limited to law students. Legal practitioners, parents of law students, and any other interested parties. It's the first of its kind. It's the first time we're having such study or related activity at the School of Law. So we want to have as many people participate as possible, but then also we'd want to have, the goal achieved. So I just want to extend my sincere appreciation, first to the most perpendicular leadership of the Uganda Law Society, the Governing Council, the most perpendicular leadership. We thank you so much for giving us the platform, not just on this particular occasion, but also on the many other occasions. There are so many activities that we are undertaking as a society, but also as law students. And on all those occasions, whenever we've reached out to you, you've responded positively. And that's something that we do really appreciate. I also want to extend our sincere appreciation to some of our partners, or to our partners. British Council, we appreciate them. Wide Tours and Travel, we do appreciate them. Uganda Airlines, for subsidizing some of the tickets and for some of the offers they've given us. But then also, most of all, I would like to appreciate or to thank the School of Law leadership, the School of Law administration. When we came up with this idea, they were so welcoming, and throughout this time, they keep guiding us, do this, do that, because this is not something that we can just do as students. We need a higher hand and a helping hand. As I conclude, I want to state, there's a Luganda saying that goes, that atanava kutambula, yatenda nyina okufumba. I don't know if there is an exact English translation to that, but what I can say is, if for that one that has not yet moved or traveled or traversed the world, is the one that praises their mother for cooking the best meal. This is an opportunity for us all to learn, to be inspired, to recharge or reshape our careers, legal careers. When you travel, you get to be inspired, you get to learn from the best. And London is one of the best destinations. Let us all embrace learning and study. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, the president of Makerere Law Society and the gallant members that have escorted him to market the law student trip to London, and you've ably told us that we don't stop to be students regardless of whether you have left school. So Mr. Martin on your left, on your immediate left, is also a student, he's a potential customer. Mr. Edwin Echiba is your potential customer. You can be sure that they have the dollars because they are the ones who have been guiding us here, but also very importantly to appreciate the opportunity to come and share this information with us. We know we have over 5,000 members that are following us, especially on these social media platforms, as well as the fact that there are some discounts, and the opportunity alone is really awesome. We know that it is very important to network, just like we've just been listening from Edwin. It's important to network, and how better to network than to get the information and get contacts from London, which we know is very expensive to access. This is a very good opportunity, and Gabriela was saying the Uganda Airlines is going to take us and bring us back. But there are some Ugandans who are imagining, can you take us and leave us there? Yeah, it's very many people want to leave this country for very many different reasons, either opportunity to work or share different experiences. So yes, we are very honored to also be a platform upon which you can send your message out. We are going to just repeat the different highlights, especially that came from Gabriela. The booking fees is $395 US. It is non-refundable, to be paid by 20th November, is that right? But today, if there was anybody who was able to book, it should be at $350 US, and therefore we are able to be in position to be considered to make a smaller payment. That's just a discount. The early bird offers, the booking fees, as we've said, by today is $350, and the payment by 15th December will be $100 less, which will be $2,885 US, and thereafter it will climb back up to $2,985. Is that right? If I got you right. But then the trip is going to take place between the 1st and 7th of July 2026. So members, this is not a short notice arrangement. We are being given over 8 months to prepare, but of course the intention ought to be brought to the fore by making bookings, which makes your work easier. And of course they have shared some contacts. We shall also have those contacts shared on our platforms, our social media platforms, so as to communicate with the individuals that are in personal contact. And we have also appreciated that they have the blessing from the Makerere Law School, where of course we know there are certain senior administrators there. Some of them were our teachers or lecturers. So we thank you for coming forth and the blessing that you've come with. We send our regards back to the Makerere Law School, Professor Naluwairo. Please send him our regards. He is a friend of ours. He's also been here once or twice. He has been sharing critical information. And Professor Mbazira, who is one of the candidates in the Judicial Service Commission nominees, which is an exercise that is ongoing. He has also visited us. We have very many friends anyway, to say the least, and we shall make sure that we market this idea so that you get as many revelers, students, and are you opening it up to non-students or to the general public? It's not open. There are some questions that are coming. We think it's okay. We can demystify the questions as they come in. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for the opportunity, for sticking with us. We have had the last item for discussion, which was more like an announcement, but also a preamble to what is being intended. We are getting into a time of question and answer. We have been receiving some questions from the different attendees, both online, and I don't know if there are any that are physical here. We would like to share them with our guest speakers. We had some questions for the URSB representative and for the Tax Night Series representative. I would like to request that we begin with the URSB representative. There is a question coming from Mr. Nyangoma Jesse. Thank you so much, Mr. Nyangoma, for gracing this occasion with your question and enlightenment required. He says the copyright bill is still in Parliament. Why have they created new regulations before the bill is enacted? The copyright bill is still in Parliament. Why have they created new regulations before the bill is enacted? He continues to say, if the bill is later passed with provisions that require new regulations, wouldn't that cause further amendment to the regulations, potentially leading to excessive repetitive changes of the law? I would beg for you to listen in again. If it is understood, you can as well activate the microphone before you by pressing that button, the white one. Is it on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, please proceed.
Thank you, Ms. Nyangoma?
Nyangoma Jesse.
Jesse,
yes,
for that question. So, you see, when we do the evaluations of our regulations,
yes,
we do it holistically. First of all, we do evaluation of the laws, which is leading now to the amendment of the copyright bill.
Yes.
That evaluation was done. However, certain things may not have been holistically taken in during the evaluation of the copyright amendment bill.
Yes, please.
And this was one of them.
Yes, please.
First of all, the gazette requirement was introduced by a regulation.
Yes.
And therefore, the best opportunity to remove it is also by the regulation. It is not there in the Copyright Bill Act, but it was a regulatory introduction. So we felt it was timely. The complaints were allowed, and the reasons were available for removing it. And the process is relatively easier to amend a regulation than amending the substantive law, which, as you all know, has taken quite some time. Yeah. And even up to now, it's still in the committees, and we are waiting for second reading.
Okay.
So we didn't want to waste any time, so we took up this opportunity to amend it.
Okay. Thank you so much. You say it is easier to amend a regulation than it is to to amend a substantive law, yes, which has already taken 10 years and has been in the offing. Yes. So yes, Jesse, we and all the members that are listening in who might have had similar questions, because it's also a very important question. He's having his very sincere imaginations. So I hope that can answer your question. Just for you to know, it is a work in progress, and the people that are behind it are fully checked and aware of the different movements about the laws and the amendments. There's another question from Joel Kamier. Thank you so much, Mr. Joel Kamier, for the question. Or rather, not a question, it's a compliment. He says, thanks URSB for removing the gazetting requirement. He gives us some clapping emojis and then says that 400K was too high for the ordinary Ugandan. Whatever it was, the cost that was attached to gazetting was very expensive, but we also remember that we were told that it also took 60 days for there not to be an objection for you to have to receive a certificate of registration. So it wasn't just about the money, it was also about the time within which to wait for the issuance of a certificate of registration. So yes, Joel, thank you so much for reaching out to us. We appreciate and ask of you to continue to stick with us. The questions, thank you so much, Mr. Martin. There are questions for Mr. Ichiva. One question is coming from one Raymond K. He says, great initiative, guys, very much appreciative. Is there an attendance fee Or does one just pay for the drink or meal they have ordered? These are very intentional questions. They touch the heart and the soul and the stomach, and they want to be very categorically clear when they are coming. So I think we have to appreciate that there are individuals that are interested in attending this series. Please proceed.
All right. Thank you very much for the question. Yes, there is a nominal fee that is charged, and the idea is the fee will cover potentially your drink or your bite in there. So we have two categories of payment. The very first is a table payment. So a table is 350,000. That's a table 4. And what does a table come with? The table comes with options. The very first option is a food platter, something that the 4 of you can eat, or cocktails, or a bottle of wine, or a bottle of whiskey. It's whatever you like, but something that the 4 of you can partake of. That's a very fast mode of payment for those coming in as a group. But for those who might not be able to raise a group and to come in alone, my 3 colleagues cannot make it. So we also have an individual payment. The individual payment is 90,000, and similarly, that also comes with a drink or a bite. So in the 90,000, you have a meal on that. So in case you've eaten prior and you don't want to eat, you have a drink on that as well. So it's not just a payment for a ticket or whatever. No, it is that payment is inclusive of the meal, and that's mainly being that we discussed with our hosts, and we need to have business sense for the hosts as well. So that's why we had to come up with a very nominal fee, but that fee shouldn't impede your attendance. There is a lot for you to learn, a lot for you to get exposed to. So yes, there is a very nominal fee.
Thank you so much. That was a good answer. Joke Bob, thank you for the question. Asks Mr. Chiba, how does one keep up to know the venue changes every month? How does one keep up to know the venue changes every month?
Thank you, Ojok, for the question as well. So in terms of venue changes, so our socials do spell out all the details regarding from the date, the choice of the guest speaker, but also importantly the venue. But our new venue is a 1420 restaurant. It's in Bugolobi, along Luthuli Avenue, just after Bugolobi Flats, along I think after Banana Bar. If you take that route, it's just on the road. 1420, very big space, very spacious, and quite a better ambience. The reasoning for that was mainly our very first venue was a little smaller, so there was a lot of overwhelming demand, a lot of attendees. So we had to get something befitting of the vast attendance that is coming in. So we had to get a bigger venue. And for now, we are locked in. That's our venue for the next editions until communicated otherwise. But yeah, all details regarding the tax nights are shared on all our social media platforms, and that speaks to the date, the guest speaker, the venue, the mode of payment, and we even have a contact in there. So in case you have any inquiries, reservations, for avoidance of that, I can just read it out very quickly. It's 0702 869 642. 0702 869 642. So should you have any inquiry, any clarity you seek, please reach out to us. We shall ably support you on that. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. This is a question for those that cannot speak. Does the 90,000 come with data? Does it come with airtime? I mean, no, but I think that is the answer. We want to I appreciate more of the gesture than the payments. The payments are important, of course, but imagine you're seated there at 350,000. Does it come with whiskey, the 90,000? You spoke of whiskey.
No, so the whiskey is the reserve for the group format, the one that takes a table format, a group of 4. So the individual was mainly that one, Robert, who has come in solely. So at the 90, we'll have an equivalent of drinks, either a soft drink, a hard drink, but also preferably a menu. Yeah, a meal, sorry, a meal. So we have a menu that you'll have to choose from. So we're not limiting you on what you can take. We have a menu, we shall avail you. Then you can choose from the menu, anything you desire of the menu. The idea is we need to be very open. Yeah, so many people, some will tell you, no, I want to eat, I already ate, and a drink. So we have a menu that speaks to the different categories you may desire.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, just be reminded that when you come and pay your 90K, that doesn't mean that you don't have to spend your own money. You have to come, and the 90,000 can only do so much. You are free to go do whatever else you want. 1420 is in Bugolobi. It's after the market, after the Bugolobi Church of the Resurrection, where I worship, and then also after Banana Bar, that is on your way towards the last flats, and that is former Gabiro, former Gabs, those that new Gabs. I know I see some faces here that have been to that place, and it's a wonderful place. It's a new place. Please feel free and also follow their socials so as to appreciate the changes. As he has said, there's a contact that has been shared. We are going to also tag that contact on our Uganda Law Society X handle and different platforms by our communications manager and officer, that is Mr. Adam Nwamanya, who is in the building, taking pictures and sharing all this information immediately and also live, because we are coming to you live from the Uganda Law Society. We would like to thank us all for the information and the questions. There is a question for our friends from Makerere Law Society. A question from Najib Chizito. Thank you so much, Mr. Najib, for reaching out and to us. The question is there a payment deadline? And is it possible for one to pay in installments? I think that's something that has been shared, but it's okay to give as much information so that people are aware and they rest properly, knowing that they are not just losing their money. Please, the microphone is before you, Mr. President. Okay, any of you can answer that question. Thank you. Najib, yes, okay. Najib.
Thank you, Najib, for that question. Of course, there is a deadline. There is a payment deadline, and it's March. March? Yes, by March we shall be closing the official payment such that we are able to prepare adequately. Meanwhile, you can pay in installments. You can pay in installments for as long as you take you take advantage of these packages that we have put for you. The one by 20th November, if you are able to deposit that, and that is of course an assurance to us that you want to go with us. So if you take advantage of those packages, we are able to ascertain that you really want to go. You can deposit the other amounts in installments by March. March is like the deadline of payment. Yes.
Thank you so much. There's a question from Salome. She says, us who are students, what happens if my parents' payments are not made in full? Is there a refund? Us as students, what happens if my parents' payments are not made in full? Okay. Is there a refund? A scenario, I think, where before March, before you close, somebody has paid $1,500 and for whatever reason it's not possible.
Okay. Yes, in case you're not able to pay full payment, when you look at our brochure here, the $395, the initial payment for the visa and booking, that is non-refundable.
Yes.
The $395.
Yes.
But the subsequent installments that you make, if you are unable to pay the full installment,
yes,
we shall refund.
Okay.
Yes.
I hope that is the position, and we are being recorded live. Let us be honest. And I think it's also logical, because if a person has not paid the full amount and the deadline has arrived, $1,000 might not be so much money, but it is somebody's hard-earned sweat. And I think it's only right to retain, as you said, non-refundable, the $350. It will be humane enough to give a refund. So the whole point is, when a person shows interest, we just keep praying that God will continue blessing us so that your objective is met and everybody is happy. Thank you so much once again. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to the close of this session. We've had a very beautiful 2 hours of interaction on the issues that have been shared: copyright amendment, regulations, the tax night series, and the student law trip to London. We are very, very excited about everything that has been shared. We would also like to bring to your attention a reminder about a few activities that have been addressed, or rather announced here on this platform. As from last week, we had some announcements from the East Africa Law Society about the East Africa Law Society Conference, which is scheduled to take place on the between the 26th day of November to the 29th day of November in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia at the Ethiopian Skylight Hotel, as we were being addressed by our member who actually is now at the East Africa Law Society. That is Mr. Gabriel Achaye, who had the privilege of speaking to us. We are all aware. We also know that the Members Affairs Department is being engaged by the members. We want to thank you for listening in to the clarion call to go and have that opportunity. As we had said, it's all about interaction, learning, and getting to know more about practice across the globe and also in East Africa. We are very, very intentional. May you continue to access the Members Affairs Department or any of us for information purposes so as to book your ticket early. We also had an opportunity to host LASPNet Legal Aid Service Providers Network that paid us a courtesy call last week, and they were here to discuss a few things, including wellness, but they have coined the whole wellness idea into a run for justice, which is scheduled to take place on the 29th day of November 2025. That will be flagged off by the chief runner, Owechitibwa David F.K. Mpanga, the Minister of Lands and Properties in Buganda Kingdom, who will be in the representative capacity of Owechitibwa Charles Peter Maiga, the Prime Minister of Buganda Kingdom. We have with us kits in the house, that is the Uganda Society House, and they are going for a nominal fee of 25,000 shillings for ordinary and 35,000 shillings for platinum. The run will be will start from the Law Development Center, that is on Kagugube Road in Wandegea in Kampala, and the traffic routes are going to be shared with us over time, and kindly feel free to visit the Uganda Law Society House and the different other sell points that are being marketed online by the LASPNet. Beyond that, we have come to an end of today's session. There's been no questions that have not been answered. We'd like to, in a very, very special way, render our gratitude and thanks to the members that have joined us today on the high table. A very big round of applause to them for espousing the knowledge and identifying with the Radical New Bar under the leadership of Isaac K. Semakade and the Governing Council that sends you their regards. And as the CEO put to us, would like to thank Mr. Chiba for the work that he has done, that platform that you've created. May God bless you in those endeavors, because it's a very noble gesture and a very inviting opportunity for members of the society as well as the public to interact and learn more. Mr. Martin, we want to thank you for the opportunity and representing the URSB. As we said earlier on, it's been a very key change that is helping ease the work of the lawyers as well as the public in as far as copyright registration is concerned, and reducing the burden and simplifying the registration processes. So the creatives that we had with us some time ago that have always had a challenge, which we also received, you are very welcome to visit the offices of Uganda Registration Services Bureau, or visit them online, or come or go to your lawyer, or go online and see what changes have been enacted so as to add value to your ideas. As we know, creatives are already attached to you, and we want to put money to that idea that you have created, because it is not an easy task one of these days to create an idea that can sell. So why not attach an amount to it? Why not attach value to it by learning how to register your copyright? And the upsurge in numbers that has been registered from 19 to 23 to 45 in the most recent history is already showing that there was some little bit of a clog before members could register their copyright. So you are very, very welcome to go to your lawyer, or come to the Uganda Law Society, or go to the offices of URSB in order for you to add value to your idea. For the students, we want to thank you for this very, very awesome opportunity for you to pick yourselves up and stand to be counted as those that are adding value to the fraternity and to the practice, because you are helping to expose those that do not necessarily have the opportunity to go to London and see what happens out there. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Jurua, my name, the Rule of Law Officer in charge of litigation. We are very grateful to you for having joined us. We have been in this with Gwenny Patience, who is a research officer. We send you regards from Miss Afra Apio, who is the head of Rule of Law Department, and as well as the General Counsel for being a part of this organization. And we want to bless you and leave the blessings of God with you to go ahead of you and meet you at your various endeavors in order for us to meet again over time. We would like to take the opportunity to welcome the panel that has just been with us to take a group picture before the podium in order to capture this for the record as we wind up with the day. Ladies and gentlemen. All right, I've just gotten information from the communications officer, Mr. Adam, that the November-December CLE calendar has been published. Kindly visit the Uganda Law Society Membership Affairs Department or our socials so as to access the calendar that is going to enable us, especially those that have not yet accumulated the CLE points, in order for you to accumulate the points, which we all know as members, the importance in order for you to access your practicing certificate for the next year. Kindly make it an effort to visit our socials, as well as if not access the communications officer or the members affairs department or any of us who are here with the society, in order for you to appreciate the calendar that has trainings against which there are CLE points for you to appreciate and get the points that you require in order to apply for your practicing certificate. Without further ado, we would like to close this session by thanking you once again and praying that the Lord be with you until we meet next Thursday. Thank you so much. God bless you. Here, please.